Alrighty, Steeler Nation Australian, Steeler Nation worldwide. Today, guys, we are doing a quick video, and I have one big question, although my thumbnail and my title probably gave it away. So we are, in fact, talking about Christian Kuntz. Now, we're not talking about Christian Kuntz. We have a big question today, and I'm going to ask my fellas, because they don't know what it is right now. I'm recording this video, but they have no idea what this big question is. So let's bring in my fellas who I was working just with then from State of the Steelers, Daniel J., and my other mate, Nathan, from It In Hindsight. Is that correct?
Yep, in hindsight. In hindsight.
In Heintz? Heintz? I can't pronounce that.
It's literally like if you're saying Heinz Field, just put a T in it.
Hindsight. We probably say it differently here in Australia.
There you go.
Hey,
You
guys,
got it,
fellas,
man. You
we
got
just
it.
did the podcast on State of the Steelers. I think that's already aired probably somewhere.
No, it was live, bro. It's already out.
Oh, it was live. What am I talking about? Oh,
Go check it out, guys. It's State of the Steelers on YouTube. We had a great time.
Yep.
yeah, that was a good time. But I was thinking about like an idea for a video today, and there's so many different avenues you can go down. But I want to ask one big question, and I'm just gonna go around the room, and this is to me is weighing on me like after the game, and I want to ask it in this manner, right? And it's about Trubisky. It has to be. Okay, so that's going to give you guys a heads up.
Okay.
But does Trubisky make the Pittsburgh Steelers a better team? That's what we're going to discuss today. Now, I want to put that as a foundation. Like, does he make them better? I'm not saying you have to bring in Pickett. I'm not saying you have to bring in Rudolph. I'm not saying you have to go and bring in Jimmy G. I'm just saying, does he make them better? And we're going to go from there and discuss this notion of Trubisky at quarterback, which we did a lot anyway on Save the Steelers. But Daniel, I'll start with you first, and we'll see where this goes. Does Trubisky make the Steelers a better team?
Better than what? I mean, we have to have a starting point. Let's put it. I'll compare him with what we've seen recently and what the bar and the standard has been for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is the 2021 Steelers and the 2021 Ben Roethlisberger. I don't think so. I think 2021 Ben, 40-year-old Ben Roethlisberger, would have done a better job in this game than Mitch Trubisky did. I think that it would be over in regulation, and I don't think it would have been a one-possession game. I think that Ben Roethlisberger would have made this a two-possession game with 5+ turnovers, with all the weapons surrounding him and the time that the offensive line gave Mitch Trubisky. No doubt in my mind. So when you look at that, and that's got to be the bar, the last season, I think that the answer is clearly no. Mitch Trubisky is who he is. I wasn't a favorite of him being picked up by the Pittsburgh Steelers in free agency. I understand the pedigree, and I understand what Mike Tomlin was thinking and doing. It's a little bit almost predictable at this point. A first round high pedigree guy gets out there. The Steelers are going to pick him up if nobody else wants him. And so kind of the same situation here. Not saying that nobody else wanted Mitch, but what did he do in Chicago outside of, he did early? Once teams figured him out, it's been the same story. It was the same story then. It was the same story in preseason. He had wide open guys. He had Sims in the not the Jacksonville Jaguars game, in the Detroit Lions game, wide open for a first down, instead dumped it off. He had Pat Freiermuth running down the middle this game. He was inaccurate against throwing to Pickens. I'm not a fan of Mitch Trubisky. I think Kenny Pickett should have started this game and should have been named the starter after the preseason. I understand the move, but does he make them better? I don't think he makes them better than Ben Roethlisberger did last year. And honestly, I think if you put the rookie in, I don't think he's better than him either.
That's a pretty good answer. And what about yourself, Nathan? Does he make this team overall better? Is he an addition rather than a subtraction? If you're putting Trubisky in there and he's going to play for the whole season, are you happy with that? And does he make this Pittsburgh Steelers team better? Like, is he good for the organization?
It's a very good question here, Mark. Very good main question that you've been kind of holding in until we got on here. So I do like the question. It's kind of, I think, a question maybe not many people necessarily put their thought into. Is he making the team better? It's more so just really evaluating how he's playing week in and week out, it seems like. So that's a good question there. Daniel made a lot of really good points to feed off of there. In terms of making him better, you obviously can base it off of what you've seen last year. And I agree. I agree with really what Daniel was saying. So really to feed off of that, I don't think you like what you said, Mark. Is he more an addition or is he a subtraction in the team? I don't want to say he's an addition because the fact that I think even if they would have went a different avenue than Mitch Trubisky and got someone else, I don't think we would be seeing much different. Does that make sense? If they would have went, let's say they went the avenue of Teddy Bridgewater instead of Mitchell Trubisky, how much difference would we be seeing with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm with the current state of the offense from what we saw week 1 and even over the preseason? How much difference would we have seen with a guy like that? Another type of journeyman, if you want to call him a bridge type quarterback, similar to what Mitch is viewed as. How much difference really would there ultimately be with a guy like that? I don't think that much. I really don't. Not with what we've seen so far. Now, maybe Mitch, as the season goes on, we can sit here and say, let's say he gets the groove, right? Let's say he gets the groove. He starts learning more, things like that. Then we could sit here and have a different conversation with that. But from what we saw over the preseason, what we saw week 1, I don't think he's an addition at all. And it isn't a knock on him necessarily because we all know who he is. But it's just the reality of it. And once Ben retired, it's hard to transition and find someone right away that you can plug right in there to and be better than what Ben gave you. Because there wasn't really a ton of options to really choose from anyway, unless you wanted to blow your whole entire future for a guy like Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers or someone like that, which I think we can all agree we're probably glad they didn't go that direction with it. But yeah, I agree with Daniel. I think Kenny Pickett gives them more addition offensively than what Mitchell Trubisky is. We know what he is. We know what he's accomplished. He had some good things in Chicago. He had bad things in Chicago. He's a guy you're going to win some games with, you're going to lose some games with. And at the end of the day, I think it kind of balances itself out. Like you're just there and it's not taking you to the next level than what they had offensively last year.
Well, that's what I think is a kind of the funny point. That's why I really want to tackle this idea because Trubisky is our starting number 1 quarterback. And, you have the defense and the offense played pretty abysmal, right? But the quarterback play was subpar or average. And to me, in what the Steelers are doing right now, you can't waste the defense like we talked about and say the Steelers. Yeah. But, if you have Trubisky the whole year, is that a good thing? Or, I'll put it to Daniel. If you put Trubisky in the whole year, are you pissing away the season? Are you getting rid of the season?
If he continues to play in this fashion, I think so. I mean, you have a championship defense that played 100 snaps in this last game. That should not have happened. The defense was on the field for over 46 minutes. That is insane. And, as you're expecting this team to do something that is not sustainable, the health is not sustainable. I'm surprised that, more didn't go down when you look at how much time they were on the field, the fatigue that sets in. The Steelers defensive line, I think they only dressed 6. So there was a rotation that was going in and out there. It was hot. The Steelers, it was a rainy day. It was humid. That's why players went down with cramps. It could have been a lot worse. And, the Steelers escaped that game. But, and remind me what your question is. I got so upset about it.
I just want to know overall, I think the Steelers have a good team, right? We have a good defense. We have good special teams. Our offense is all the think of all the offensive players: Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Claypool. Offensive line is like okay to maybe good, and then maybe the easier question is Trubisky an addition or a subtraction to the team? Does it make him better?
He really doesn't. And even to and going back to what you were saying, I remember what you were saying now. I mean, if you stick with a guy that clearly is showing that he's not going to be a contender in the AFC North, and there's a possibility to give the chance to a rook, then it sounds like you are giving up on the season in efforts to protect the young guy. But in reality, he's not even young. He's 24 years old. He has over 50 starts in college. I think the kid's ready. He's ready to rock and roll. If he's not ready now, then, Colin Howard came out not too long ago talking about, I hope he's not ready now, being as comfortable as he is. And the fact is he's played his college career in this stadium. He knows the team. He knows the offense. He was next door for 4 years. It's time, in my opinion. But yeah, if you don't, in my opinion, you're going to hear the Kenny chants go often. If Mitch Trubisky continues to play poorly, questions are going to start to be asked of the players. That's going to become a distraction of the team. I mean, it's already being asked of the coaches, all throughout preseason, who are you going to be as a starter? It was a distraction then. If Mitch continues to play poorly, it's going to be an even bigger distraction throughout the year. I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, I think you are pissing away the season if you continue to have him and he continues to play this poor. But to even go back to what Nathan was saying about bridge quarterbacks, we saw what Teddy Bridgewater did last season against the Pittsburgh Steelers against our defense while they were, with a healthy TJ Watt, and he didn't look as bad as Mitch Trubisky did this past weekend. No. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Nathan, mate, question to you. What does Trubisky need to do to be that guy? Is Mitchell? How can he be the guy for Pittsburgh?
Another good question. I don't think he's ever going to be the guy here, no matter what he does, because he has his ceiling, and I know exactly what you mean with what you're asking. I think what he's got to do, man, he's got to stop, like what you said on Daniel's live stream earlier. Got to stop living in his fears. You got to take chances. You have to stop having some happy feet and be. It doesn't need. I don't even want to put unrealistic expectations about him in terms of what can he do to win the fan base over or solidify himself for this year. I don't want to put those unrealistic expectations. I want to be as realistic as possible with it. But I think just make the plays that are there. Don't panic. Don't, when your first read isn't there, don't start running around or throwing the ball away or dumping it off or anything like that. Be composed, show that, have confidence. That's such a key thing that is so big, and that we saw Kenny Pickett was in preseason. He had that. Mason Rudolph hasn't had that his whole career, confidence. And that's such a big part of whenever you would see him play, he wouldn't have it. He would be scared. And it seems like Mitchell Trubisky a lot of times gets scared after that one guy that he's looking for isn't there. That opportunity, that window isn't there. You have to take the time, be smart in the very limited amount of time you have, and make the plays that are there. Nobody's asking you to be a top 10 quarterback. We're asking you just be productive when it's there. Take what's given to you. Don't be sporadic. Don't be afraid of certain things. And I think for him to be successful, him having that confidence, having the confidence of his coaches, teammates, relying on that, and trusting his team and doing what he can to make the plays he can. Like it's hard because of the type of quarterback he is to not say, well, if he can score more, things like that. Like, he's not always going to. So I think really you make a few big plays a game, and take advantage of what the defense gives you. I think he can be successful. If he takes advantage, let's put it that way. If he takes advantage more times than not of what the Steelers defense gives him, the opportunities, I think he can find himself starting the whole, maybe not the whole year, but he's having success.
Is Mitchell Trubisky the unwanted cousin that stays at your house for a very long time and gets the good bed, and then takes all the good chocolates, and when you get home from a long day of work, you're like, oh, I can't wait to get that Kit Kat, man. Yeah. Can't wait. And then you see Mitchell Trubisky on the couch going, eating the Kit Kat, and you're like, how'd you get that? Or, well, your mum let me have it. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, is he that guy?
He's
Let's
slowly becoming that guy. I think he's becoming that guy. I mean, and that Kit Kat is Kenny Pickett, and so.
All right, one last question before we end it. This is probably the biggest question too, and I'll get both of you guys' answers. Then we can just do the shout outs. Daniel, can Trubisky take us to the playoffs? And win?
Can Mitch take us? No, but this defense can. And as long as Mitch doesn't do too many turnovers, then if the defense can stay healthy, then they'll be able to take us to the playoffs. I'll give credit to Mitch when he starts making plays and decisions, and the team starts gaining points and time of possession because of him, not in spite of him. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I think this is just the defense carried this team, and if he doesn't change it up, then I can't say anything different until I see something different. You know, that second half by Mitch Trubisky was horrific. It was horrible.
No points. No points.
I think he only threw for 30-something yards the entire half. It was.
I've got his stats here, right? I've got his stats here, and then I'll ask you the question too, Nathan. Mitchell Trubisky, 21-38 and 194, 5.1 average, 1 TD, 1 sack, 48 QBR, and RTG 78, whatever that means. No idea what that is. So, and he targeted Frymouth, 5 times. Targeted Frymouth 10 times. Deontay 12. They had 12 catches between them, so they were miscommunication. It just didn't do anything. Nothing happened. 200 yards is not good enough. 21-38 is pretty poor, and the QBR was 6 points better than Burrow, but Burrow at least went and slung the football. To answer my own question, I don't think it makes the team better as we lose Daniel. Did I get rid of him or did he leave?
It's hard to say. I don't know where he went. I just know he popped out.
All right, we'll start the fidget here then. But I'll bring him, mate. What's going on?
I have no idea what happened.
I was reading the stats and it offended you.
They offended him.
I was extremely offended by the stats. I couldn't.
They hurt his feelings really bad.
What do you reckon, Nathan? Can Trubisky? Can he turn it around? Can he make the playoffs and win?
I really like Daniel's answer of really how he answered that question, and I'm going to kind of trend in that area. I don't think Mitch alone is a guy that's going to carry your team to the playoffs. When he was with Chicago, we know he made it 2 times out of his 4 years there, which is a great thing within itself. But the Bears still had a pretty solid defense those years he still went in, which really helped offset that offense. Now, I would have to look back at those stats offensively, really what he produced. But yeah, I think if this team's going to make a run to the playoffs, it's going to be the defense that carries them. And Mitch, depending how he's playing, if he can give them a little bit of average to a little bit above average play, then that's great. But him alone isn't going to do it. Isn't going to do it. If Mitch Trubisky went to a team like the Giants, because they were also reported to be interested in him, if he went to a team like the Giants, they're winning 5 games. He comes here to a team like the Steelers.
True. That's a good point.
Yeah, he comes to a team here with the Steelers. You have a set defense that's ready. That's a Super Bowl ready defense. You have good position players that are a part of this team's future. He comes here, and I said this before the season started, even before preseason. I was like, Mitch is who he is. We all know who he is. But with the talent he has the opportunity to find success with this group. And it's not just going to be him alone, because you could even plug somebody else in there that's maybe around that same caliber of Mitch, and I could say the same thing. Mitch isn't going to elevate the team or anything like that. It's going to really be the team elevating him. And it's not impossible. They can be a playoff team, but they're going to have to rely on a lot of other guys to produce than just Mitchell Trubisky. So I think that they can get to the playoffs. Do I think they can win a playoff game with him? It's hard to say around that time. I think it would depend how he's really ultimately playing. Probably not, just because you're going to need, come that time of year, you're going to need some production offensively, and it's hard to see him give that more so than what he probably will. But yeah, he's just not a guy that you can count on to, really single-handedly. Well, maybe not necessarily single-handedly, but he's not a guy that you're gonna be confident in, is where if your defense, let's say your defense is struggling one game, he's not going to be a guy to lift that defense up and win the game for the Steelers. It's not going to happen. Big Ben did that time and time and time again every single year when their defenses were putrid. Mitchell Trubisky, obviously isn't anywhere near that conversation. He's not going to do that. But like I said, he's a guy that has potential to have success with that talent they have defensively to set him up for certain, for some success and offensively. So it's really who he has around him to help get him that next level. But who knows if it's going to happen.
The only way now, from what we've seen in the preseason and in the one game that we're judging all this on, and I guess a little bit of Chicago Bears and not playing with Buffalo, right, is if we see the same color as this terrible towel, gold, right? The gold flags come out and he gets a chance because that's the only way he pushed the football down the field.
Yeah.
Daniel, one last question because this is crazy. When does Kenny Pickett come in? When's Kenny coming in? Is it this week, next week, next year?
I think that if you guys can remember, Kendrick Green had a quote unquote calf injury happen towards the end of the season. There was some rumors and speculations that it was more of a pride injury and it was a benching instead of an injury. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that with Mr. Trubisky in this game if he struggles early, goes down with some cramps that he's unable to come back from. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think the Steelers are going to give him this opportunity unless he completely has what I call a Mitch show in Pittsburgh and has another, performance like he did in this last game. I wouldn't be surprised. We might see him get benched in this game and see Kenny Pickett. But in reality, I'm thinking the Jets game might be the first one. The next game is a short week, division rival on a Thursday night in Cleveland. I think that it being on the road, you're not going to hear the Kenny chants in Ohio. So I think that might be Mitch's leash, so to speak. And I think the first opportunity that we could see Kenny Pickett, and that's if he continues to struggle in this manner, is going to be week 4 against the Jets. I don't know. But if I got a question for you real quick, Mark, and I know this is going to wow you up.
Oh, no.
If Tomlin keeps Kenny on the bench, plays Mitch the entire year, and the Steelers do not have a winning season, is Mike Tomlin on the hot seat?
Nah, he's not. He's not on the hot seat. I don't think he'd be on the hot seat. I think it'd be crazy. I get this feeling that what Tomlin's doing is it's a long season. He knows he's going to play Kenny at some stage anyway. Maybe try and escape with a few wins of Trubisky. Tell everyone that he is the quarterback number 1, and I think at some stage he's going to come in. He has to, right? I think you got to put him in. And also, the offensive coordinator Matt Canada has to put him in the right position for success. That didn't happen last week as well. The away game kind of sucks. It will be different. I'll be cheering for him to play well, and I hope he does. If he checks at this podcast and says those 3 fellas, 1 from Australia, 2 from America, said I'm crap, I better go out and play, then he's going to go out and play. I think he can do that in Heintz Field, Acrisure Stadium. I think he has a chance to. He has the offensive pieces around him. Throw the football more to Muth. Throw the football to Pickens. Throw the football to someone. Don't throw it to check down Charlie to Deontay Johnson. He did make a good play where he threw the football to Claypool over the first down yard, stuff like that. But these are minimal things where they're just actual football plays that should be made all the time. He didn't do the, what does Thomas say? Do routine things routinely. He didn't do that. They got off the field and nothing was really happening. But guys, I'm going to end it here and start to calm down because it was a big question, and I think this question could be talked forever. But I think we all know we're going to see Kenny Pickett at some stage. But Nathan, when are you going to be buying your Trubisky jersey?
Once I hit the lottery and I don't know what to do with my money.
You want to wipe something without other than toilet paper?
Yeah,
I hear you.
Yeah, if I ever run out, I mean that would.
Hey,
look,
we'll give him a chance because we have to. Because I don't want to see his lose. I don't want to waste a season. I want to see his win. But where can we find you, Nathan, on the old YouTube?
Yeah, my channel in Heintz. You can take my last name as that is right here. It's implemented into my channel name in Heintz YouTube. Talk Steelers. I talk other Pittsburgh sports over there. Even other things outside of football I talk about that's not even Pittsburgh related. So if you kind of want a dose of really everything all around the sports spectrum, you can check me out there. I also have my social media links in my descriptions in that video. You guys can also check out. But shout out to Mark for having me on, and for the first time on his channel. So thank you to you, Mark, for having me on. Always good to talk Steelers with you guys.
Yeah, bloody oath. And we got well, Daniel's fairly new to YouTube. I think he's about like 10 subs. He's piss poor over that way. He's doing absolutely shit house. What about yourself, Daniel? Where can we find you?
Well, you can multiply that by 100. I just hit 1,000 subs, so thank you, everybody. Yep. You can find me at State of the Steelers on YouTube, and actually anywhere you find your podcast, Google, Apple, Spotify, just search up State of the Steelers. Right now on my YouTube channel, we are actually giving away 2 tickets for the Steelers versus Vegas Raiders game. All you got to do is be a subscriber to be a part of that. So but yeah, you just search up State of the Steelers. You'll find me. Also, I do a Saturday only podcast for Behind the Steel Curtain, also titled State of the Steelers. So thank you, Mark. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. It was fun talking about Mr. Trubisky.
Yeah, fellas, it was a good time. Thanks, Nathan. Thanks, Daniel, mate. It's not like it's just to me, it's a big question because Trubisky, we wanted to play better. Just do enough. Just get the touchdown, first downs. Run the ball. You don't need to be throwing 40 times a game. And I think he will get better into this year. And if he does, there's going to be, there will be less Kenny. But we know that come this Sunday versus the Patriots, they're going to be yelling Kenny straight away because he struggled. He struggled the preseason. He struggled in Chicago. He didn't play in Buffalo. He was back up. And you made a really good point, Nathan, I want to end on. If he plays for the New York Giants, they win 4 to 5 games. And that is 110%. We can't waste this season. No. If it gets to the point where we're 3-3 or something like that, put Kenny in. Yep. What more can you do? Kenny's young. He's exciting. The preseason football he played was fantastic. And, I don't think any of us are going to be buying Trubisky jerseys.
Yeah, I think you can end on that. Let's say if Kenny Pickett, before you log off here, if Kenny Pickett starts at any point in time this year and rallies his team, how quick are you buying his jersey?
Kenny Pickett? Oh, man, I've already got 9 jerseys. I don't know if I can get another one, to be honest. As long as Kenny Pickett doesn't go crazy like AB. Did you see what he wore the other day?
Yeah,
it's unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable.
I don't know what's going through his head.
I'll answer that question though, guys. I already own a Kenny Pickett jersey.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. You won't even need to worry about it.
I'm excited.
And that's showing the support for someone who's not even the quarterback yet, who's a future guy. That it's like we know it's the Lamborghini sitting there. Oh, we can't drive it yet. Nah, man, go out and drive that thing everywhere and show everyone what you can do. So I think it's sooner rather than later. I think Trubisky is maybe just doing the first few games to let Kenny warm in and also get the media attention off him a little bit and then put him in, like you said, the Jets game or something like that. And then when he starts playing well, and if you sneak away with a 4-point win, a 7-point win, you've got the defense that won it anyway. And Kenny, I think will do better. But to me, does Trubisky make this team better? I think it's overall no. I think it's actually a negative because we saw that. He scored 7 points, and that was off an interception. He didn't drive down the field. He did nothing. The offense was stale. Matt Canada's offense was stale. It was terrible. So with that being said, guys, thanks, Nathan, Matt, for coming in. And Daniel as well. Awesome show, guys. I'll speak to you out through the week. And thank you, Steeler Nation Australia. And thank you, Steeler Nation, as always. Here we go, Steelers. Here